Hello dear students, this is the last lecture of the aerial photogrammetry. We will see what is the absolute stereoscopic parallax. In the last lecture we have seen what is the air based distance and what is the photo based distance. To just understand more clearly what is the difference between the k and k dash. If you have seen in the last lecture we have seen two photographs, one here and another here. One here, this is the center of this one, we call it the PP, so this is nothing but your K, and here is your K dash. Now when you come to the second photographs, for changing the position of the aircraft from O to O dash, here changing the position here, no more K will be as a K in for the second position, but the K position somewhere here, and the new principal point will be here, which was earlier K dash here and K dash here. Question might arise in your mind that whether do we know K dash earlier? No, we don't know. By observing where is the K dash, you know what is the K dash, how you can see center or principal point, by joining the fiducial marks, one here and one here, that is two fiducial marks on vertical line and remaining two fiducial marks opposite each other in horizontal line. So where they will intersect, that will form your the principal point. So that K dash can be identified at what object it will be coming. The same object is identified in the first photographs, indicating what you are supposed to be the next principal point. So here it try to explain the same here. This one is your the center of this principal point, so we call it the principal point K here, and then the second one principal point we K dash we have indicated here. That K dash, the name is called as the conjugate principal point, which is shown here, principal point and conjugate principal point. Okay, so anyhow these two will appear on the same photographs. When the flight is in this direction, definitely K dash will be appearing here, but when the flight is in this direction, K dash will be appearing in this portion to the left hand also, the center point or principal point. So when we talk about this, the aircraft is moving from left to right. Now this will be your new principal point, and here if I say this is your K dash, and this point will be your K. So in the second photograph, K will be your conjugate principal point and K dash will become your principal point, whereas in the first photograph, K will be your principal point and K dash will be your conjugate principal point. Now what is the differential parallax? To understand it more clearly, let us say one object, that could be any structure. Most of the times the photographs when they are taken, the the base and the top of that will be easily identified. So let us say this is the base or bottom of the object and this is the top of the object in first photographs. The same object, if you see in the second photograph, if you have noticed it very carefully, the orientation of the particular tree is not the same orientation in the second, because the aircraft has moved here, the orientation changes because the field of view changes, angle changes, therefore the orientation of that object that will also going to change. So here same base again identified and the top of this is identified. Now what you do, uh, there is the one instrument called as the parallax bar. Parallax bar is kind of the mechanism which is used to measure the distance between, let us say, top on the first image and top of the same object in the second image. So we've seen next slide how it look like a parallax bar. But let us understand what we have to do here. The two photographs, they are kept adjacent to each other, even though it is shown like this, some gap in between these two, but actually it is not so. These two photographs may having some gap or may not be having the photographs. Okay, we'll discuss this later on. So the distance between these two is 13.5 mm, and let us say the bottom of this, that will be giving the 15.2 mm. Okay, only the thing we have to take the care of this, the two objects, let us say one object here and the second, the same will be coming the same line. If it is not so, that means the two photographs are not exactly parallel. The distance in between will be inclined one, will not give the true with the horizontal distance. So what is the dp? Dp is the difference in parallax, can be calculated as, if you see here very carefully, if this is the from principal point here and the another principal point is here. Second, from the same principal point here and the principal from the second point there. So here you can also calculate as a xa plus xa dash and xb plus xb dash. This is another way of calculations here, but here as says that is a differential parallax. In this is called as the absolute parallax, where with respect to the principal point the distances are measured. Okay, so what is the difference between the absolute parallax and differential parallax? So here the dp, that is the change in the parallax, if I say same as xb plus xb dash, or is okay, and minus xa plus xa dash. In other words, if I say pa minus pv, that is nothing but your differential parallax. So that will be in another way can be calculated by measuring what is the distance between these two and what is the distance between these two. So that will give you as a 1.7 mm. To understand in another way what is the stereoscopic parallax, you can see the image here. The line of flight is in this direction. So you can see here at the particular moment the two objects which are much higher than the another surrounding objects. Suppose let us say this is the object, we want to know what is the height of this. Is a cylindrical object, it could be anything, a cylindrical tower or anything. So this is the bottom and this is the top of this. So we want to know what is the height of this tower. So what can be done? First, identify the object whose height to be determined in the first photograph and the second photograph. So you can see if the object in the first photographs, this point and this point, so these two arrows you can see they are somewhat at distance, or this gap in between these two. Okay, if I just extend here, but whereas in this photograph the object is looking at the vertical, so therefore they will be coming in the same line. So bottom and top, they are arrows, they are coming the same line. Now what we have to do, what is the top here? First is this first object, and what is the top of this distance, we can call it the first we have to determine or measure, and the second one is the what is the bottom here and what is the bottom here. So these two bottoms they are measured. So taking the difference of these two, you will get called as the dp, and this dp is called as the differential parallax or simply parallax. One more thing, you can see photographs taken for measuring the height of the monument in Washington. So how this can be calculated also, photo 1 and photo 2 to be considered, and in another way to same figure, if we want to calculate what is the bottom of this, what is the top of this, the difference between these two, that will give the what is the height of this. So this is called the d. If you see here, delta h is equal to yeah, this one, this value, delta p into h, delta p plus b. What we have seen here, this value, just compare the values how you are getting, and this value, that's it. So here we ended the aerial photogrammetry. In the next chapter we will start with the hydrographic surveying. This is also very important, but comparatively very small in extent as compared to the aerial photogrammetry. And after completing this hydrographic surveying, we will move ahead the very important GPS, GIS and remote sensing, and this all three together, GIS, remote sensing and GPS, we call it as a category as geoinformatics. So as far as the exam point of view, the geoinformatics is very important. The few questions they are also asked in exams related to hydrographic surveying. So see you in the next chapter for hydrographic surveying. Thank you.